here, and I think we have to do, the time to do it, is showing you the power of Session Manager when integrated with feature servers that are not CM. So we're going to integrate with a third-party feature server, and it's nothing more than a Java application that you right now have in your laptops. And when you run that Java application, you could make your laptop behave as if it was a feature server providing some features. The three features are going to be a call blocker feature, call forwarding feature, and a call spoofer feature. And let me show you the Java application. You should have it in your desktop. The name is, what is the application here?
JXP install?
No, the name of it is Sample Sequence APPS.
Oh, here we go.
Found it?
Yep.
So when you double click on that Java application, oh wow, so it tried, I still have the virtual machine for the Active Directory, so it tried to go there. Anyways, when you open up that application, now you have three features that you could work with, and now your laptop is a feature server with these three features. The laptop uses a port, a TCP port, in order to listen for traffic. So just take that into account. It's a TCP port, not a TLS, but TCP, and it's a special port. But anyways, you could configure these three features. The one we're going to be using is the enable call blocker feature, where you simply put a check mark there, go to call blocker, and you specify that you want to block calls from this number to this other number. That's it. Simple, you know. And this is pretty much the what you could now get. You know, we'll go to an Avaya market and you get these features. Either you buy them, maybe it's this as a Java application, or maybe you buy them as a snap-in that you install off top of Breeze, Avaya Breeze. Because you know, new features that maybe help you with stuff that you want to provide to your users and CM doesn't provide it. So stay here with me.
Pretty cool. Call blocking within CM is a real annoyance.
Okay, it's still working.
You gotta do that weird EC500 kind of nonsense.
EC500 with the VCS. And
waste a
I
station.
know, I don't see something to submit it.
It's silly.
Yeah, so let's see. Let me go back to my presentation. Where was I?
That app that we had open just out of call blocker, was there supposed to be like a submit or an enter key or something? Or we just put in destination calls block from?
Block from, and that's it.
And that's it.
No, hold on. You need to still do some configuration.
That I know, but I'm just saying on that little Java app, just put the from and to and nothing else.
And put a check mark
on it. Yeah, we did.
And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. But let me talk about these third-party feature servers before you configure anything. First of all, you need to define an application, just as you did for CM, as a feature server, right? Now, the thing here is that when you configure the application for CM, you only configure one application in order to get all of those 700 features coming from CM. Now, with third-party feature servers, I mean, the feature server doesn't know about the users. CM knows about the users and knows the features that are either enabled or disabled, right? But since the third-party feature server doesn't know about the users, and you need to tell the feature server the feature that you want to enable for some specific user. And because of that, you need to create one application per feature. So if you had a feature server with 100 features, you will need to create here 100 applications. Okay? And you would need to create here an application handle, which is going to be given to you by the developer of that application. And this is how the feature is invoked when
for each application.
For each
feature
within that third-party feature server. Yeah.
How many apps can you have in a sequence?
You could. That's a good question. I don't know if there's a. You could. Yeah. You could have a lot. Yeah. You could have a lot. So if we wanted to make to work with those three features that we saw, the call forwarding, call spoofer, call blocker, we would need to create three applications here, right? and assign them later in a call sequence in whatever order we want to assign them. Remember that we have evolution servers, and when you have an evolution server, CM needs to be in the sequence, first of all, but then other applications in the sequence could mess up everything. So we're going to create actually another sequence, and this exercise, we're going to make it work with non-Avaya, with non-AST devices. You know, like just a simple device, not using CM as a feature server, but using this as a feature server. Just to bypass problems that we could have by having that sequence with CM and some other applications. So you specify the application handle. Notice that this Java application we're going to be using runs on Windows on port 6053. Why this is important? Well, because your laptop is going to be a feature server, so you'll need to create first a zip entity for your laptop. Otherwise, session manager won't trust on any communication coming from the laptop. First, what's the next thing you do when you create a zip entity? You create an entity link. Communications between session manager and the zip entity. So it's no longer going to be a TLS entity link. It's going to be a TCP entity link, right? And the port on the far end, meaning the laptop, is going to be 6053. Then here, the developer of the Java application is telling us that for the call blocker, the application handle is this one, CSE call blocker. It's just how you invoke that feature once it gets to the feature server. It's telling me that if I want to use a call spoofer, this would be the application handle, and if I want to use the call forwarding, this is the application handle. Okay, we're going to be just using the call blocker.
Call blocker, yeah.
But we could use the others if we want. Now, important, you're going to be creating a zip entity with the IP address of your laptop, right? That's where the Java application resides. So you're going to go with the IP address of your laptop. Type is going to be other. Something important is that you want to disable zip link monitoring. Why? Because this Java application doesn't know that it should answer 200OK to an options message. So session manager, if you leave the zip link monitoring enabled, it's going to send an options message to the Java application. The Java application is never going to answer anything, and session manager is going to think that the application is down, and then it's no longer going to try to communicate with it. So make sure that you disable monitoring for the zip entity. And once you create the entity, you're going to create an entity link. Stay here with me, because you have more chances of getting it right. You're going to create an entity link, and again, the protocol is TCP, and the port on the far end, which is the laptop, is 6053. The port on session manager could be 6053 as well, or could be 5060. That one really doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to use TCP and go with the default, go with 5060, right? You could go here with 6053 as well. It doesn't matter. But the one that really matters is this one here, because that's the one that the Java application is listening for traffic. It's using to listen to traffic. Then, for the call blocker, you create a feature. You create an application with the handle that the developer gave us, CSE call blocker. And then you create a sequence where you add that application, and then you just assign the sequence to a user. Notice that the lab exercise is about using the call blocker feature, and they want you to do this. They want to block calls from X401, which is the AC23 endpoint, to X201. But right now, I think that your X201 phone is related to CM. Is it?
No, 1201 is a SIP phone.
Is it still a basic SIP phone?
No, it's an AST phone.
It's an AST phone. So
yeah.
Please convert it back to dummy SIP phone.
Or just use 4202.
Or just use another one. In case you didn't convert the two of them, use the one that has no relationship with CM.
Okay.
Just because we don't want to have CM in the sequence. We want to have a new sequence with no CM. Okay? which makes sense. You know, makes sense because this is a SIP phone, and we want to try a feature server that has no relation with. A feature server for features that are not coming from CM.
It probably worked, though, wouldn't it?
Huh?
It probably worked.
It would work if you add this new
This
application to
first.
the existing sequence. You just need to make sure that's applied first before the CM application is invoked. Yeah, it will work. But here we're trying to not complicate things, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just
But you got it.
thinking of how
It will work.
Not
You know,
complicate.
when you have CM as an evolution server, and you want to have more than one application in the sequence, you just want to make sure that your CM in the origination sequence is set as the last one, the last application in the origination sequence, and the first on the termination. To be back to back, and you're trying to avoid other application messing up the shortcut flag. Yeah, you don't want to have anybody else.
The shortcut could shortcut one of the other applications in the sequence.
Yeah. Now the problem with that approach, I mean, by doing that, you're like, okay, no one is gonna mess my shortcut flag. However, what if the applications before CM stop the request, and that never goes to CM? Then no features are applied at all for that user. You know, so there is a risk. When you have CM,
this call blocker very well might just
exactly,
stop.
exactly.
Some variety that stops the sequence.
Yeah, it stops the sequencing, and then CM is never triggered, never invoked, you know, and then no other feature is applied coming from CM. So there is a trade-off, you know,
Yeah,
when you apply. Yeah. Now, when you have CM as a feature server, Andrew, you could have CM in the origination sequence as the first application, and in the termination sequence as the first application as well, because there's no shortcut flag that could be messed up. And you have your most important application, which is CM, as the first application in both sequences.
So which one is, what are we trying to do here?
This is the wrong IP, by the way, no?
Yeah, no, I think
This is-
my desktop is
Yeah, just check the IP.
10.200.
Yeah, go with that one. This is the wrong one.
Okay. Where's the density? Elements? Oh, routing. That's right. Okay. Well, yeah. Here we go. Have to do a new one. I'll call it. Wait, I'll call it Lab 10 Call Blocker. 192. Yeah, that's what I'm putting this together now. So I'm creating a new SIP entity that has the address of this PC. So 192.168.10.200. It looks like it had been entered in before, which is interesting. And I really don't need to do anything else, I don't think. Let me see.
Type is other.
Other? Yep. Type right here. Yep. Other.
Type is other. Yeah, that should be it.
And that should be it.
For the SIP entity.
So I can commit this. Okay. Now we got to go to entity links and create a new one.
Alright, so which IP address
Oop.
did you use for?
I didn't. Okay, let me uncheck that.
What's 204? Is that your last?
A unique name.
Okay, great.
So
Yeah, like SM to a call blocker app or something.
yeah, just right. That's good.
Go to the desktop.
To call blocker
Job app, or you already ran
app. SIP entity 1 lab 10. That's TLS fine. SIP entity 2 to call blocker.
Change that to TCP.
TCP, right? Because this is not TLS. Although I don't think he said it didn't matter, but maybe, who knows? But I think it does have to be TCP, right?
Yeah.
So, and this should be 6053 because that's the important one. That's the listening one that he had mentioned. Trusted nodes. That looks good. Hit commit. Okay, good. Define the application. Define the application.
You want to go to
Home.
Session manager.
Session manager. Application configuration. Applications. Hit new. The name.
create a new application sequence.
Call blocker. SIP entity. Lab 10 call blocker.
That should be it.
Yeah. Application attributes is optional and application
Don't forget
media.
about the handle. The handle there. Application handle. That's the one that.
Oh,
That's the one that the developer would need
Oh.
to.
Go back to your.
that's not on the.
Go back to your.
That's gonna be the CSP.
Yeah, so we want to do SIP to SIP. Both phones being SIP, not a CM phone.
If you wanna.
The
Say that,
not avoid
I
the
see it.
H323 phone.
if you
I
wanna
see
avoid
it.
that, yeah, just set it
CSEC
to
call
be
blocker.
simple phones.
CSEC.
And
Yep, here we go.
that's it. If you want to apply
Thanks, Nestor.
the sequence to the caller, apply
Now-
that's origination.
Sequence to 4201.
Okay.
Go back to your SIP entity.
So it's gonna
SIP
be
entity, okay.
4201.
Under the routing tab.
Yep.
Routing tab.
Oh yeah, we got it still open here. Okay.
Go back to your SIP entity.
Under
The one.
the one-
The one above it. You're in entity links.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. See on the left hand column.
Yeah, SIP entity. Sorry about that. Okay.
Go back to your call blocker
Okay.
and scroll down. Make sure that we have SIP link monitoring disabled. See that drop down for SIP link monitoring?
Oh, right here.
Disable that guy.
Okay.
There you go. Now commit that. We want to make sure that's disabled.
Okay.
So you defined your application
Right.
sequence, right?
No, we have to do that next, I think.
Or you defined your application. You entered the CSE call blocker, right?
Let's see. Application sequences. Sequence with that. No, we have to define that now. So
Okay.
we did define the
the-
application.
Yeah, the application.
That's here already.
configuration is done, right?
Call blocker. Yeah. If we just double check, let's go in here again real quick.
Your application header.
We've got the CSEC call blocker application handle in there.
User manager.
Everything else looks decent.
Pass.
So let's go back to I'll go over here. Sequences. Do new. The name of the sequence. I guess we can
Call
call it
blocker.
call blocker. Yeah.
Call blocker app.
That's good. Yep.